Hello class, today we are looking at dividing with decimals. We've added, we've multiplied, now it's time to divide. So, how do I divide with decimals is your essential question. I am learning to perform arithmetic operations on fractions and decimals are our learning intention. So pause the video and see if you can do the three warm-up questions now, please. Well, I hope you tried. If I'm looking at this, I'm going to set it up in columns so I can keep everything straight. 12.34 plus 23.111. Everything's going to be straight. I don't have a number above this, so I'll put 0 as a placeholder to remind myself that it would be 0 if it was there. 0 plus 1 is 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. 3 plus 1 is 4. Bring your decimal down. 2 plus 3 is 5. 1 plus 2 is 3, and we're done. Okay, so it's not hard if you keep everything straight. Okay, now remember how we work with the fractions. As I'm looking, I see that 15 and 4/7 minus 8 and 2/7. 15 is bigger than 8, so I will be subtracting like I normally do. But I have to look at my denominators. Are they the same? Yes. So let's set this up and see what happens. 15 and 4 over 7 minus 8 and 2 over 7. Okay, 4 minus 2 gives me 2, so I don't have to borrow from the 15 because I've got enough sevenths to cover it. 4 minus 2 is 2, so this is 2 over 7. 15 minus 8 is 7, and we are done. So, as we're looking at the first two, they're fairly simple. But what happens when we're trying to subtract and the first number is smaller? Well, subtracting is the same as adding the opposite, and that's the way we'll look at it. If they're opposite symbols, then I will go ahead and find that difference. But I've got one more problem. I've got different denominators. I've got 1/3 and I've got 1/2. So I've got to change them into the common denominator. So as I'm looking, 1 over 3 and 1 over 2. Okay, now, question is, what is the least common multiple? Least common multiple for these denominators. Well, they're both prime, so I'm going to multiply them together. 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 would be the least common multiple. Now, I've got to think, 3 times what is 6? Well, that's 2. Whatever I do to the denominator, I've got to do to the numerator. 1 times 2 is 2. What do I multiply 2 by to get 6? Well, that would be times 3. What I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. 1 times 3 is 3. So I've changed them to the equivalent fractions with the common denominator that I can subtract. So as you're looking at this, remember that what we're really doing is multiplying by 3 divided by 3, which is 1, or multiplying by 2 divided by 2, which is 1 also. So we're not changing the fraction, we're just multiplying it by a different form of 1 than we're used to seeing. Okay, once again, we're going to find the difference. So I'm going to take 8, okay, 1/2 is equal to 3/6. minus 4, 1/3 is equal to 2 over 6. 3 minus 2 is 1, so this is 1 over 6. 8 minus 4 is 4. So your answer is 4 1/6. Okay, so now we're going to look at dividing by decimals. When dividing, you need to multiply both the dividend and the divisor by the same power of 10 to get a whole number for the divisor. Your dividend divided by the divisor is your quotient. So here's my dividend, here's my divisor. I've got to multiply to get this into a whole number. What can I multiply 1/10 by to get a whole number? Well, that would be by 10. When I multiply by 10, I simply move that decimal over 1. Multiply by 10 here, I simply move that decimal over 1. Now, 33 divided by 1 gives me 33. So this answer is 33. Any questions? Okay, let's see if you can set the next one up on your own. I hope you tried. Dividend, divisor. So 7.2 divided by 0.9. I need to change this into the whole number. So I'm going to move that decimal over 1 spot. I'm multiplying by 10. Same thing here. I've got to multiply by 10 to keep the expressions equivalent. Okay, so now 72 divided by 9. 72 divided by 9 is 8, and this is equal to 8. Okay, so on the next one, how many spots are we going to have to move it over? We've got to move it over 2. Okay, see if you can set it up. See if you can set it up like we did here without finishing it up, finding the solution. Please try to set it up now. Okay, so on the outside I'll have 0.06 divided, and I'm going to divide 0.30 by 0.06. How many spaces do I have to move it over? 1, 2. Put that 1, 2. It now becomes 30 divided by 6, and that gives me 5. Okay, try to set the next one up, please. Let's hope you tried. Let's see if you've got it set up right. 0.03. We're going to divide it into 0.66. Once again, I have to move it over 2 spots. Move it over 2 spots. Okay, 66 divided by 3 will give me 22. So as you can see, you've got to move it over to give yourself a whole number to work with. That helps you understand the process a little bit better. So let's look at the fractions and what they're called. So the first decimal we're going to look at, this is how the decimals work. 0.1, the fraction is 1 over 10. 1 tenth. For the next one, it is 0.01. That's 1 over 100. And that is 1/100th. If you notice, 10, tenth, 100, hundredth, 1,000, thousandth, 10,000, 10,000ths. Okay, 1,000ths. We're moving our decimal over 1. So this is 0.001. This is 1 over 1,000, which is 1,000th. Okay, for the last one, we're going to move it over again. 1 over 10,000 might be easiest to write the fraction first. Here's 10, 0, 0, 0. And I've got 1, 2 zeros here. That means I've got to add a third one here. 0.0001. So as we're looking at the decimals, I want you to look at the chart over here. That decimal divides them into equal sides. This is tens, these are ones, these are tenths. These are tens, these are hundredths. These are thousand, these are thousands. So if you look, you've got ones, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, and then 100,000. Here you've got tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, and 100,000ths. You change the base, you put that TH at the end to designate that it's going as a decimal. So I know I'm successful when I can perform arithmetic on fractions and or decimals. We're still doing arithmetic. Fractions and decimals. Also, you need to remember how this works, because these are tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, and 100,000ths. And you keep going and it is the same way. So basically this decimal in the middle, other than having the ones here to begin with, where you don't have it on this side, you go straight to tenths. It looks kind of the same, other than it has the TH on the end over here.